Hey guys, here's an update on our weed garden. We're gonna have to get out here and do some cultivating, do a little bit, but we've got in these hills right here, we've got cucumbers and crookneck squash that's coming up. We're gonna try to mulch these dudes really good so we don't have, there's a nice big one. I think we have zucchini also. We're going to try to get them mulched. We have 3 rows of potatoes, Irish potatoes. It's good eating for bulk foods when you're feeding a lot of people. Got some beans starting to sprout up right there, and this is growing a bunch of weeds. We're going to have to get out here the next week or so and knock some of them back. We had several rows of beans here, but it ended up being dry, which it hasn't been for the last 3 weeks, but for some reason it's at the wrong time, it was dry. This right here was a row of okra. I don't know if you can see way down there, there's about 3 okra plants. That's all that survived. This was a row of corn. We got one there, one coming up right there. So we got to go back and replant the corn row. This is a row of corn that you can see on up there. It's picking up. This one's actually 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows of corn in there. Hayden's already gone back and replanted. Oh yeah, his corn's coming up. Look at that. He's replanted some of these spots that didn't come up initially, so we'll have to go back in and redo that. But this is down here by the front of the property by my mom's house. We're put in stuff like kind of field stuff that we don't have to tend every single day. That way maybe the weeds won't be quite as horrible on us. Alrighty. Yeah, thanks to Adrian Hale. If you guys have not watched his videos, he does a lot of stuff on gardening and whatnot, but he told me we've always grown potatoes, but I never really have any luck. In fact, one time when I was a kid, we actually planted 150 pounds of seed potatoes, and we picked them or harvested them, and we had about 100 pounds that we got back from 150 pounds of seed potatoes. So sometimes we don't always have the best luck. But I asked Mr. Adrian what he did, and he says he uses the ashes from the stove, the wood stove and whatnot. So I didn't have very many. We'll probably have to build us a fire and get some ashes, but I had enough for this first 6 foot of this row, and it seems like it's actually doing better. And also we dumped some manure in this spot right here off the field, but hopefully we'll get some potatoes in. My slips, sweet potato slips, haven't done quite as well as I'd hoped, and I think I've only got about 8 or 10 of them that are rooted, so I'm gonna put those in also. I'm gonna put some more ashes on these and then start to heal them up. But there's an old potato, a volunteer from last year. There's I think that's a zucchini maybe. Something else coming up there. Some of these, because here's another volunteer potato from last year. Because this little patch is away from the house, it doesn't always get tended as well as what it needs to. And in fact, my wife doesn't really like me to plant stuff up here because it doesn't always get the attention that it needs. But figure this year we'll just put mainly the crops that are gonna take up a lot of space and need some time. So this is Hayden's acre and a quarter, half, whatever, that he's cleared out. He's done all this himself, and the deal was we've run out of pasture, so I told the boys if they wanted, he's got some grass starting to come up in here. He's just broadcast seeded this grass, but I told all the kids if they wanted to add on to the horse collection that they were going to have to clear 1.5 acres per horse that they wanted to get. And maybe someday we'll get some cows to start back making some money off the homestead instead of dumping money out. But horses are good. The kids really enjoy them. It's a good character development tool. They get to learn how to deal with bad attitudes and whatnot. But that's our property line right there along those trees and the posts. And we're working on buying a nicer trailer, single wide, to put in here for my mom, so she can have a little better setup than what she's got now. And then we can also get in the old house and remodel it and get it ready to turn into a rent house. But yeah, we got a big wood. Honeysuckles, those smell good. Sorry guys, panning too fast. Hopefully I'm not making anybody sick. Maybe I should put a warning on to get your motion sickness medicine before you watch this video. I'll slow down. Yeah, we got a big fire here, or pile, that we need to burn off. And Hayden's done a pretty good job. He's got a little bit more in that corner to clear out and a little more along that fence line. And then we'll have this. There's some more of his grass he's got started growing up in here. So there's already an old fence row in here. I don't know if you can see the ribbon on that post back in there, but there's already T-posts in there, so we'll just have to stretch some wire on it and then we'll be back in business. Down there's the spring. We're gonna be doing some videos on the water system and getting the off-grid water working better than what it's working right now in the future. So stay tuned for those. So here's our garden in the back of the house. We were initially gonna try to put a garden in the middle of the orchard, but we've been so covered up with everything else that we've not got to it yet. And it's probably getting late enough in the year it's not gonna happen. Eventually that strip between the junkyard road and the orchard will all get cleared out, and there's, I guess, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of an acre, maybe half an acre, but anyhow, that will get cleared out, and we'll have our garden and greenhouse and things down in there. But for today, we're gonna take a look at our grass, guys. Finally, 3 years in, or 2.5, we're getting grass growing. Now the next thing is gonna be, Mama's gonna want me to start mowing this stuff. I think we'll probably delegate somebody for that job. But like the front garden, we got a bunch of weeds coming in. Got some cucumbers here. I forget what the girls planted in this little spot here. Ethan has mixed in some sand and made himself a little bed to put carrots in. This is green onions, or bulb onions, I guess. Or we got yellow and then white. And then out here we have cantaloupe. I think that's cantaloupe. That's probably going to be a squash. Trying to mulch with some hay here so we can start to knock some weeds down. And I've got something in those hills coming up. That's some more cucumbers. Looks like, not sure on these. Guess we'll be surprised. We put out a bunch of stuff early. I was excited we were going to get an early start. And then we had a really bad cold spell and it didn't work out. So we've got 3 heads of cabbage. I think that's a broccoli maybe. And then start on a row of tomatoes here. Don't judge for the lack of weeding. Tomatoes. These tomatoes are starting to put on some buds finally. We got to start getting those staked up. And then more tomatoes on down through here. Over here we have, let's see, this is a whole bed of, yeah, this is one of our original plants. Started from seed. And the little bugger hasn't done a darn thing. It's been in there since April. Just sat in the ground and done nothing. But this clay soil is really hard on the roots. We've got a little bit of everything in here. I've got some Swiss chard and some kale. What else? Turnips, purple tops, and the other turnips. We got a row of peas that we planted along the back there, and some onions we threw in. And then, not sure if that's a mustard or a turnip green. It's growing pretty nice and big. And then we got some lettuce down over there. So, a good little start. That's our tomato row. Uncle James is allergic to red tomatoes. We got some peppers in right there. A row of tomatoes and peppers. Yeah, Uncle James is allergic to yellow tomatoes, or red tomatoes, so we grow some yellow tomatoes that he can enjoy as well. Yeah, that's our update on the garden, guys. So give us a thumbs up, some comments, and hopefully your garden's not as weedy as ours.